Time's 2017 Person of the Year has been chosen. We had the shortlist earlier this week, and now we know it is the silence breakers, the women and in some cases men who helped to come forward despite the very real possibility that it would be devastating to them financially and in terms of their career and in terms of their reputation, to talk about the sexual harassment and sexual assault that they had personally faced or been exposed to. And that began this process that eventually moved into certain social movements. You had the hashtag #MeToo and a number of other things like that, which has created this moment where in media and in politics and in some other areas, including business, people are being held accountable in a way that they have never been held accountable before. Certainly not in these numbers and at such high positions of power and authority. So the silence breakers were chosen. We can show you this cover of Time magazine here. You're gonna see some of the women who are involved in this. There's some controversy as well, which I would prefer not to focus too much on. One is some people said, look at the elbow of the woman being cut off. It's sort of messed up of them to cut a woman off when they brought her in for the photo. But they responded that no, that is an intentional thing. It's to represent the women that they've talked to who still don't feel like they can come out openly. And they will tell their stories, but they feel they must do it anonymously. And so the woman her face is hidden there is a representative of that. And we also have a short video, we're only gonna play you a little bit of it, but talking about this moment that these women and others have helped to achieve.
We can't all be sluts. We can't all be asking for it.
I am here to give you permission to be angry.
This reality might not have to be our reality anymore.
I felt this crushing sense of powerlessness. This is the time to take my power back. Here's my story.
Uygur promises into sexual harassment.
Fox News cutting its ties with Bill O'Reilly.
I felt it was my duty for the women who are silent to be brave.
Who have worked at the plaza saying
it's okay to stand up for yourself.
Taylor Swift appearing in court today.
On Harvey Weinstein, the New York
People forget a lot that there's a human behind this, someone who was very hurt and wrong.
Kevin Spacey now under criminal investigation.
We just learned this moments ago.
has been fired.
I always thought maybe things could change for my daughter. I never thought things could change for me.
As I said, that's just a portion of the video. You can find the full video on time.com.
And we'll put it in the description box. Whenever we reference a video or an article, it's almost always in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube, or oftentimes in the comment section on Facebook. So great selection. It makes perfect sense.
It seems, maybe not in hindsight, but certainly in hindsight, that it almost had to be.
Yeah, and of course it has to be a collection of them. You can't just give it to one of the women because so many were brave and came out. And if you're
many more were profiled in the magazine. Obviously, only so many are on the cover, but many people were a part of this, and not just immediately, but you can go back to the origins of the movement before there was even Twitter.
Right, and some of them are women you don't recognize. One from who came out at Uber and talked about sexual harassment in the workplace, etc. Some are the ones you do recognize. Ashley Judd, one of the first to come out against Harvey Weinstein. Taylor Swift, if you remember, now it seems like it was a million years ago, but it was actually just a couple of months ago when she sued for just $1, just to prove a point, of a DJ who had grabbed her ass and proved in court that he had.
And had tried to sue her.
Yes.
Because she came out against it.
Right. Now, the only other case I think you could make for Person of the Year, honestly, is for Donald Trump, because he's caused such mayhem. Person of the Year is not something that can be congratulatory. In this case, it's laudatory that women had the courage to come out. But it's also given the people who've had great impact, for better or for worse. Yeah. And Stalin, Hitler, etc. And Trump was the Person of the Year last year, and definitely that was accurate. He was, for better or for worse. And this year he was the runner-up, and which of course he was bitter about and complained about earlier, and did that preemptive tweet like, "Oh, I didn't want it anyway, I turned it down." And think about, now that you know who the Person of the Year is, he's saying, "Oh yeah, the women who were abused, including by Donald Trump, got it. Well, I didn't want it anyway, I turned it down. I could have had it instead of those chicks, but I didn't want it. That's why they gave it to the women instead."
Yeah, he also congratulated the women on winning the Time popular vote, but he still won the Time Electoral College. And he also bragged that they technically got first, but he got second, and he's exactly the sort of sexual abuser that they're organizing against, so he's really 1 and 2. So I would like to congratulate him on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, it's a great choice. There were, obviously, Colin Kaepernick and his movement incredibly important as well. I thought that those were both possibilities. Symbolically, Bob Mueller is certainly a possibility if they wanted to really, give the finger to Donald Trump, which I guess this also does. But yeah, obviously this is just the beginning of this movement, and there will be a lot more heads rolling. That has, again, been long overdue, but it's great to see the recognition in this particular form.
Well, and I know what you're thinking, yes, but who's the Turk of the year and the jerk of the year, which is what we do at the end of the year every year. Well, you're gonna have to hold, because we do wait till the very end. Candidates could still come in, okay.
Does this put pressure on you? Because they came out first, so now if you choose someone else, you gotta explain why.
Yeah, I hear you. Previous jerks of the year have been Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, among others.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. No, it hasn't been Donald Trump? Because I can't say why. I had to do research on this morning, and 2015 was Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Donald Trump was a runner-up. Again, he's always the runner-up, never the bride. And last year, do you remember who it was?
Oh, I thought it was last year Trump. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I.
It wasn't. I think he was in the top 5. It was Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Oh, because we let people vote.
We let people vote.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So there are arguments to be made. Anyway, so we'll give you the candidates a little bit later in the month, and then we'll have a final decision for you guys. But this is a nice appetizer. Times Person of the Year for the real course, which is of course our awards. All right, wait for us to make a serious story totally goofy.
Yeah,
that's totally my fault. I think Time did a great job
here,
did a great job. And really,
and the women did a great job.
Yeah, and calling out what was, as we've said on the show many times, a sea change, a cultural change. Now, it's one thing to have change in politics and sometimes policy, and some are really important, like Affordable Care Act. It changes policy in a really important way. But a cultural change is actually the largest change you could have. And I think these women, in their great courage, have caused a cultural change which could protect millions of women going forward from here on out. So richly deserved, and great job by Time in pointing it out. You just watched a video by the Young Turks, the home of the revolution. If you'd like to get the full show, come join us and become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.